Okay, so the key about new neural pathway use is this. Practice. Just like anything else, it's a learned skill. It's a learned behavior. It's something else. Every single thing you've ever wanted to do well, you've practiced at. Whether it be walking, singing, dancing, driving, you didn't get it right the first time. And if you did, you didn't get it right every time after that without putting more into it. And you can always build on it. You can always add to it. Even if you did that thing perfectly right the first time you rolled a bowling ball, you got a strike, probably didn't the next time. Right? There's always room for practice, muscle memory, new neural pathways to be involved. So part of it is just not saying, part is not giving up and continuing to commit and allowing yourself to do compare you to you, so you see that you're making progress. You know, you don't compare yourself to anybody else. You only compare yourself to you. Wow, I compared myself to me today, and instead of being fear up here, I went, oh wow, really? That's all? Oh, okay. Oh yeah. And sure, it could be, ooh, big car repair bill, and you have absolutely every justification, and all your friends and neighbors would say, freak out, get up in there and freak out, go for it. But you said, no, you know what? That freak out is not as interesting to me as saying what is true now, making choices that allow me to come back down to baseline. Maybe it's baseline with less money in my bank, but it's still baseline, where neutrally I can have an experience that's juicy. And then when you go to the car repair shop, you're not going there from fear. You're going there from perhaps a bit of concern, but you're not going there from this place. You're going there from, I'm doing my best to stay as close to neutral as I can because there's something more to learn from this place than that will ever give me. There's something more to learn from here than this will ever give me. And the hilarious thing is, even in our little picture, this you could probably say, oh, that looks boring, Elohim. That looks like a boring life. This looks exciting. Yeah, okay. You know what excitement is? Adrenaline. You tired? You worn out? Have you had enough of just adrenaline all the time? The juiciness of neutrally experiencing the fascination that comes with integrating your soul's perspective will end up being this foundation of strength, of awareness, of insight, of just yummy. This is just straight, get your body all involved, your adrenals all involved, your heart rate, all that stuff that you go to the doctor for. That's the sound for that. Down here it's like yum, 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 yum. That's what that sound is. And, you know, it goes like that. And you have a choice. You have a choice every time. That's what people don't want to believe, because when they look at their fears, they don't want to believe that they can choose out of them because they haven't. And then if we say you can choose out of this fear and you haven't, you're tempted to beat yourself up and be mean to yourself and say, I suck, I suck, I suck. But the truth is you can choose out of almost all fears. Some folks have chemical imbalance that makes it harder. So we want to definitely acknowledge that. But for the vast majority of people, for the vast majority of fears, you can choose out of them, but you have to make a strong commitment to it, because that fear place in you is extremely biologically driven by the survival instinct, as we've explained, and it creates in you that temptation to go into that bar. And everybody you know is happy. Well, we shouldn't say everybody. Your society at large happily lives in that bar. Love's there too. Happily, right? It's what we call familiar suffering, because they're not joyful, but they're content to suffer rather than face it and say I can make a change and be committed, and just as committed as you are to get a high bowling score, to have a different reaction to your fears, to consistently do it. But there's a pre-programmed belief that it can't change, therefore it doesn't change. Because it didn't change, it can't change. For so huge of a percentage of you, that's just not true. And some fears will be easier than others, so practice with the ones that don't freak you out so much. And every time you have a little one, go, yeah, that's right, I'm learning, I'm getting it, I'm growing, it's changing, it's happening. So that when you have a big one and you find yourself up here, you have some track record to pull you back into that response.